Shalom and good day all, this is Tahil29 back again for some DC reviews, and in these DC reviews I'll be covering Detective Comics issue 1100 and also Nightwing issue 129. I'll now get things ready and organised for the first one that I'll be reviewing. So starting off with first things first. Do these covers in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? In some essence they do, to which I give the first one on the left hand side a 7 out of 10 and the one on the right a 7.5 out of 10, as I do particularly like this variant, and it's nice to see Damian Wayne on some good covers, which sometimes can be a bit of a rarity depending on who does the covers. We need some more Jorge Jimenez back on the covers of doing Damian Wayne again. So now is the area to move into the area of the internal art. In connection to, in this case, it's the stories, but I'm going to be rating these stories. I think there's about 3 stories in here, maybe 4, but I'll be rating it as one whole story. So I'll be using the variant to show that. And of course, we still can't forget to show some of the lameness at DC Comics of what they're doing with some of these covers. Why not just give us a full-on variant cover? So as we move into one of the first stories that we get to see in this, we have a story of Batman helping a deaf child looking for a lost dog. And of course, I think this might actually be one of the better stories of Tom Taylor that he's ever actually told, considering he also enjoys ruining characters like John Kent, as well as Damian Wayne. But seeing that this is a completely different story outside of those characters, I actually quite like this one. And of course, at the end of the story, now, if it's one thing I think this story sort of missed the opportunity as well, is that maybe there could have been some bubbles just to indicate what was being said in the sign language. Right? Because you're going to have people who will pick up this book and they might not understand what's being said in regards to sign language. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because sign language can slightly differ between countries. You have the American version, you have the Australian version, you might even have the Swedish version. And there might be some slight alterations within the sign language. And this is where I think this story might have some trouble. Of course, we move into the next story, which centers around Bruce, of course, taking on the Joker and his appearance once again in the stories. And we have this one by Greg Rucka basically saying why certain violence is not nice. And that's understandable, but it's also being done by via the perspective of, say, nurses and doctors. And then we had this one at the end, which we have Batman practically falling to save a man in the city of Gotham. So for the overall rating for the art, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Next is the area of the story, to which, considering how far we are issue-wise, did we get any references to any previous issues? The answer is no, we didn't. Next is the area of time. No indication of time. Of course, we know a lot of this is taking place in Gotham, in location. And last but not least, the cast of characters consisting of basically Joker and Batman. Didn't really get to see anyone else. For the overall rating, I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move into Nightwing issue 129. So as we move into Nightwing issue 129, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? It does, to which I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Next is the area of the internal art, as we have a look around the beginning, middle and end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we have Nightwing still going back through this annoying thing, which we learned that, I guess, a new character that will be known as Nightwing Prime makes an appearance in. Of course, we get within the story a bit of a flashback of sorts, as Nightwing is taking on this character known as Nightwing Prime, but we also learn that their real name is Bryce. Of course, the return of Nightwing, and also returning to Barbara Gordon. For the internal art, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Next is the area of the story. Considering how far we are issue-wise, did we get any comic book references to any of the previous issues? No, but it probably wouldn't have hurt to include a reference to the last issue, or maybe the last couple of issues, which would have made it a little bit easier to sort of like rate this a little bit higher. Next is the area of time, no indication time-wise. The location where it's taking place is Bloodhaven. And last but not least, the cast of characters consisting of Dick Grayson Nightwing. We also had the appearance of Night Hair. Also, we had Bryce Moreau, who is becoming known as Nightwing Prime, and no doubt we will probably see this character appear again in later issues. So for the overall rating, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.